Hi, I'm Neha from Angel's Miracle. Today we have Shreya Gaur to share her healing experience with me with Angel's Miracle and how her life changed and shifted completely after healings. Thank you, Shreya, for joining me for this discussion today.
Thank you for having me. Um,
How was
okay,
your journey with us? What all happened?
I want to start by mentioning that I had no intentions of taking this, first of all. Okay, but there was this incident in my life that I could just not move over. And, actually, I tried everything from therapies to just visiting doctors, and to the point where it would just manifest into physical pain. The emotional pain would just manifest into physical pain. And there was I would not be able to sleep at night. There was excruciating chest pain, and until I finally somehow, okay, this person very dear to me introduced her, right? And I was like, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot, because since now that I've tried everything, one more just wouldn't hurt. And I went in straight without no expectations that this could change my life or this would save me. I was like, okay, I'm just tired of trying everything, and this is just one more thing for me on that list. And then I took the session, and when it ended, I was a different person. I don't know how to explain this feeling. It's really weird when even when I talk to Neha ma'am about it, it's very weird because before this, I guess we were just discussing like how this works, because I still don't believe that, like how this miracle happens. But you take this session and you're a different person, and with time you keep evolving into, I don't know, like maybe just the best version of yourself. For me, it was life changing, life saving. It actually gave me a second life, if you think about it, because I actually did lose hope, that I'd ever be happy again, or that I'd ever just, find that sunlight in my life to live again. But I did. Okay. And because of her. And it's crazy. I might even start crying, but I don't want to do that on camera. But I took one session and then I saw the improvement, which was life changing for me, because it went from just not being able to sleep at night to just not thinking about it or being bothered about it anymore. And then I took another session for my, like I have this thing with food. So food is my emotional, like I'm an emotional eater, and I was never able to have this healthy relationship with food. It became toxic because if I was happy, I needed my favorite, like favorite meals. And if I was sad, I would definitely binge on my favorite meals. So, I just lost that healthy spectrum, like what to eat, when to eat, and it was just food, you know. But then we addressed that, and the funny thing is, for a person who was not just able to, give up on her favorite meals, for her to just have all of that on a table and still, I mean, deciding or choosing to eat a salad, this still bothers me to this state. Like, how does this happen? I don't know. But it's crazy how this works. And every time I ask her, she tells me it's God. And I do believe it's God and her. So, yeah. And
So, Shreya, I want to know more about, I'm sure everyone wants to know more about what was that bothered you so much earlier before healing? Like, was that you had traumas, you had depression? What was it which got healed and you kind of transformed?
I think a lot of things. I wouldn't just stick to one, because I do understand that I'm a very complex case of yours. So a couple of things happened. Like there were trauma, and then that became like it manifested, not manifested, it actually changed to PTSD, because I would have flashbacks, I would have nightmares regarding this. And Then I slipped into depression because this just wouldn't go away. It became my lifestyle. And I'm a very anxious person. So it was actually all of those things. And we addressed each one of them in each session. So I love the fact like you take your time and you tell the other person like we're gonna work like this and it's gonna work exactly how I'm telling, but you just need to be more patient about it. And I am so glad that I kept my faith in that and in you and in this process. So we dealt with everything. So I went from like a person who was constantly worried about, what's going to happen. Am I good enough for myself? Am I on the right path? To this person who is just in control of herself, which is a big, big shift for a person suffering with crippling anxiety, I would say, to the point like I was the person who would get panic attacks before my examinations. So for a person to go from that to just, going into meetings, not even prepared, like I've got this, we're just gonna see how it goes. That shift is life changing for me. And and I healed my relationship with the person who caused me a lot of hurt, to the point that I would just talk to them and be empathetic towards them, which is the most mind-boggling thing for me, because I was like, okay, I hate this person now because he has done me so wrong in my past. And like I don't know how would I forgive him. But that just happened. Like it wasn't my conscious forgiving him, it was actually her doing all the work. But that just happened. I forgave him, I forgave myself, and everything was, back to normal, as if that thing never happened. I know it sounds all like, a kid's story that, oh my God, is this really true? But it is. Okay, trust you me, I tell this to my very dear ones that healing is possible, and just choosing to live your life again to the fullest is possible. But you need to make that decision to just work on yourself, put that faith in, that faith in yourself, your God, and Neha, of course.
Faith is ultimate. Faith is definitely needed in healings, and this happened for you in how many months and how many two healing sessions we took, right?
Actually, I noticed the change after the first session ended, which for every person it could be like a very different timeline. But for me, it was very immediate because I was suffering, from that trauma for the past 2 years. And it was just instantaneously, it was just, I don't know, it was at the back seat, when the session ended. And I was like, okay, I'll just take my time, because for me, that was not normal, right? I was just in my survival mode. So, like, for me, not to think about, okay, all of this is like, I don't know what to do now, because I got so used to living, like that. And so, yeah, it could take, but like the best part is like, I took another session. So I could actually see myself evolve with this journey. So, like, from the point where I started, I guess we started in like late Jan or like February beginning, to this 3 months later, we're done. 3 or 4 months later, after 4 sessions, I'm a completely new person. And with each session, it's like not one, but maybe 10 steps ahead. Like I take one session and then I'm on to the next thing. I figure out, okay, this is not working out for me, and this is. I realize that, and I work on it. And if there's something that I think that's beyond me, or that needs, like help from the higher energies, I would come to Neha and we'd address it together. And then again, we're maybe 10 or 100 steps forward again. So it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. And I believe not only people who are suffering with, like trauma or, this distress, it's also for people who just want to improve, just in life. Like, there are things like that block you from achieving your goals, from becoming your higher version. So if you think that, that person is you, maybe you should just take a session, and then try for yourself, right? and because like it changed my life, and it can change yours too, and it should. I mean, like, I believe every person has the, they should have this privilege of just living with like this freedom, and this love for themselves and the world. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shreya. Thank you for all your efforts of sharing your experience with us and having trust in us. It's very helpful, and I'm sure people listening to it will have hope. And that's the only objective or agenda we have for this interview, is to know people, let people know that there is hope and you can heal. You don't need to stay stuck in any space ever. Thank you.
Thank you so much.